Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Shamla Budhane. She is an associate professor in Department of Physics, St. Xavier College, Mumbai. She is going to speak on assessment based on project work. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really feeling honored that I'm invited here to share my experience with a project system that we have introduced in our department. When our college first got autonomy, we first thing we decided in our department is to change the syllabus and the evaluation methods to see that students will not give more importance to rote learning. There will be actual learning happening among the students. And with that intention, the changes which we brought in, the one of those changes is this project system. The objectives behind introducing this project system are manifold. The first is to learn to do self-study. Usually the experiments which we arrange in the lab are arranged by us, and then we tell them what to do, how to collect data. For collecting data also, we tell them whether to use voltmeter or current meter, on which range, where to connect what, and over what range they should change the parameter and collect the data, what graph they should plot. So it's like a mechanical work. They don't have to think on their own what to be done over there. They also know what should be the result that they are going to get over there. So here when they do this project work, right from filling up the project proposal form till they actually come for the evaluation, there are any steps where they have to learn different things on their own. When I'm saying different things, everywhere it need not be just physics. There are many other skills which they will then find important in their life. Second thing is verify the concepts that they have learned. When they pick up a project, there is a rule that the concept based on which they are going to do project should be from the syllabus that they are learning. We have already made the syllabus of practicals in such a way that we have introduced only the experiments based on the syllabus that is framed for that particular semester. For example, in first semester, they have, I'll take the example of second semester as I teach second semester. In second semester, they have one paper on optics and second semester paper on electricity magnetism. So they will perform experiments only on the basis of optics and electricity magnetism, that too based on the concepts which they are learning in theory, so that they actually can correlate, and whatever concepts they have learned in theory, they can actually verify those concepts over here. But still, the experiments which we have arranged for them, they will not cover all the concepts. So often it happens that when we teach them in the class, maybe that sometimes from our side there is some mistake in conveying what we want to say, or sometimes students have understood something in a different way. So when student picks up some concept for project, he has to learn that concept and do the project. Over there, by going through that, he himself or herself can understand if in case there is some mistake in his understanding that concept, and he gets chance to correct it. Third is understand the importance of application oriented learning. When we teach physics, it's very much necessary, and we all do follow the method of solving problems to show them how and where these particular physics concepts are used in usual life and different fields. But our students, for whatever reason it might be, they are a bit scared and reluctant to come for problem solving sessions. When they come for project, they have to plan the experiment on their own, and for which they have to do number of calculations. And when they do those calculations, they realize what is the importance of solving problems. They also develop interest in solving problems. That is what we have experienced when we work with them for projects. They also become confident of handling the lab equipments. You all must have observed that students, when they come to us, different students have different characteristics. Some students, when they come to the lab, they are very scared of actually even touching the apparatus. Few students, they feel that the table which is there provided to them in the lab is for keeping their own belongings. So they don't care for the apparatus. They just push the whole apparatus on one side and utilize that whole table for whatever they want to keep on that. Some students feel that the apparatus which we give them to use in the lab is meant only for them. They can do anything with that. They don't care for the apparatus. Here, also one more thing we have seen that, I mean, we all must have observed that if our voltmeter kept on the table is on 10 volts range, whatever is the range that they are going to measure, the voltages which they are going to measure, in whatever range the voltages are going to be, even if the voltage they know is going to be between 0 and 1 volt, they will not change the range because they don't want to take any trouble, and they feel that a voltage less than 1 volt can definitely be read even on 10 volts range. So why should I take trouble of changing the range? So here, when they plan the experiment for project on their own, they have to see that the apparatus they are going to use, it's their responsibility. They have to see what is the best apparatus, in the sense whether for a particular measurement they should use micrometer screw gauge or they have to use the vernier caliper. They have to decide, for which they have to then plan the experiment properly. When they use the apparatus, when it is issued to them to do that project, they have to keep it properly till the project work, the data collection, everything is finished. Otherwise, if they don't take care of that, next day they will not be able to continue with their project work. So this is how they not just start taking care of the apparatus, also they become confident in handling the apparatus. Very often we have seen the students otherwise are scared of touching the electrical instruments. They develop skill of designing the experiment. I'll come to this point little later again. And even the last point, they acquire skill of presenting their own work. These 2 points I will definitely cover again when I come to next point. The experimental project for our syllabus, it's mandatory component of practical syllabus. Based on every, for example, if you consider first semester, they have 2 theory courses. So in the practical course, there are experiments based on the theory courses. So we see to it that they perform 4 experiments arranged by us based on every course, theory course, and then they go for project. When we arrange the experiments, we don't give them the detailed instructions about how to perform the experiment, in the sense that usually when we give them write-up, we not only give them the procedure, we also give them observation table. We very often also give them the steps in which they should change the independent parameter, and then what should be the graph, how should the graph look like, and so on. So often we don't give them all the details like this. For example, if they are going to perform an experiment of RC charging, where they have to plot the graph of potential difference across the capacitor with respect to time, we tell them that, okay, first step is you observe the change in potential difference across capacitor with respect to time without going into noting down the readings. You just note down what is the range of time over which the voltage is increasing very fast, then the range of time where the increase is a bit slow down, and then the range where the voltage is constant. Now you decide over what range you should take how many readings. So if they do the planning on their own, that is the first step that we are preparing them for their projects. Here, after having done these regular experiments, they do 1 project per theory course, and that is done in pairs, and for which we give them 4 lab sessions, 3 to 4 lab sessions as per the availability of the number of turns. So they are supposed to work coming to the lab, because often otherwise earlier when we introduced it, we realized that some students said that, madam, this work we can do at home. But then at home, they used to just pick up something from YouTube and they will say that this is what is our project. So here we are telling them, no, you have to come to the lab and do the work here in front of us. There we are there to guide them. There we can discuss things with them. And if they are going on the wrong track, we can bring them back to the correct track, and that will improve their understanding. The types of projects which they can or they are allowed to do are like experimental project, video analysis, and computational project. Video analysis, they do using tracker software, where in the first semester in the mechanics course, the practicals, 1 practical is done with tracker, where they are explain how to use tracker. So they are actually doing 1 regular experiment using tracker software, which then they can use for their projects if they want. And computational project usually is taken up by students from 4th semester onwards, because in 3rd semester, Earlier, we used to teach them Octave. Now we are teaching them Python. So they use those particular methods for coding of this project. So over the 3 years of their undergraduation, they do one project per course from first semester to 6th semester. So they finish 8 projects on main physics courses plus 2 on applied courses. Now these projects really bring a lot of change in these students as a person, because when they go out, even an average or below average student, he may not be having a very good knowledge of physics, but he will be very much confident of whatever he is doing. And that is a great change that we have noticed in our students. Here, in the evaluation of this practical course, I'm not talking only about project, in the practical course, we have divided the marks for the practicals in such a way that there will be 60% weightage of the practical course to the project work. So right from first semester to 6th semester, whatever projects they do, every project is evaluated out of 30 marks. I'll later on show you how even that is divided. And that 60% weightage of a practical course given to the project brings out to 20% of full subject weightage to the project work. Here, I have mentioned that they perform one regular experiment. That means out of the 8 experiments which we had arranged for them, from that one experiment on the spot, they pick up a paper and they get the lottery system like thing, and they get the experiment which they have to perform. And then if they get that one experiment based on paper 1, then on the basis of paper 2, they will be given one short exercise of either data analysis or graph plotting, so that it is not that they are given these 30 marks based on only one particular course. Both the courses are covered. Now let me come to the skills, or the last two objectives which we had mentioned, that I will discuss by taking one example. So when I say that develop the skill of designing an experiment, I'll give you one example. Students wanted to do an experiment with capacitor. We said you cannot use the capacitor which is available here. Try to build up your own capacitance, your own capacitor. So then started thinking of making the capacitor, and then they came to us saying this, we have thought of it and we are making it. So explain what you are going to do. So then they said that they will take 2 metal sheets, and as a dielectric, they are going to use air, and so that they will form the capacitor. Okay, so then how will you measure the capacitance? So they said they will actually use the multimeter available in the lab to measure the capacitance. So then they were told to bring the multimeter and see with the multimeter what is the minimum capacitance that you can measure. So they found that they can come up to nanofarad, and then they can measure even the higher order values. So that means they have to make a capacitor, the capacitance of which is measurable by that multimeter. So at least with that, they get to know what all things they can measure with the multimeter and what are the different ranges. Now, when they got to know the value of capacitance, minimum value of capacitance that they will have to make, we had to ask them to do the calculations for the area of the plates and the distance between the plates where they said they are going to use air as the dielectric. And they came to us saying that it is not feasible. So at least that they understood over there. Then we asked them if they can use some other dielectric material. So they immediately went on the went to the internet and they found out what other materials they can use. So they came up saying that they will use paper as a dielectric, which has higher dielectric constant. So if they want to use paper, then we asked them what paper we will use. They said we will use one A4 size paper. So if you are going to use one A4 size paper, the area you know already. So what should be the thickness now? Or with one paper, what will be the capacitance? So then they did the calculation, and again they realized that they cannot do it just with one sheet of paper. Then they calculated again for the thickness of the dielectric and so on. So this is how the whole learning process starts, where they are themselves finding out the answers for the questions which we pose to them, or they themselves get the questions where they stop and they look for the answers. And this is how the self-study starts. And the skill of designing the experiment is now that they have already done the calculations. Now, when they measure the capacitor, they could make the capacitance, they could make the capacitor, they could measure the capacitance with multimeter. And then we said, okay, you have measured it with multimeter. Now you put it in some circuit or some experiment which you have done already in the class, and see whether you can get the same value experimentally. The capacitance which they have measured is a small value. Now, if they want to, they decided to do the RC charging experiment, and they realized that they'll have to use very large resistor. If they don't use that very large resistor, the time constant they cannot measure because it suddenly gets fully charged. So this is where now the designing of the experiment also comes in picture, and they understand how the experiment should be designed. About the presentation of work, when the experiments, the projects are evaluated, first I'll come to that little later. First, I'll show you this part where they have to fill up a project proposal form before they start with the project work. If they fill up this project proposal form, they already have full idea of what they are going to do. There are various different questions over here, So it is like which principle they are going to use, and in which chapter, if possible, on which page of the main reference book, which is which they are using for the theory course is there, that actually few students who are not even opening the syllabus and going through it when they are attending lectures, they are forced to go through that. Then they have to mention what are going to be the independent parameter, what is going to be the dependent parameter, what are the constant parameters, and with the units. This is the thing which we otherwise had noticed that students don't learn. They don't understand what do we mean by independent parameter, what do we mean by dependent parameter and constant parameters. And for the constant parameters, when they design the experiment, they have to decide the values. So for that, also they have to go through some process, do some calculations, and select some specific values. So that is also a process which, when we arrange the experiment for them, we go through. Now they have to go through on their own, of course with our help, but then they understand how the experiment is designed. Also, when they do this experiment, when they do this project, usually in the lab, when we arrange the experiments for them, they get an idea from the way we design the experiments or make the write-ups from them, that the independent parameters should be varied in particular steps. Here, when we tell them to, when they do the regular experiment, we tell them to observe the charging of the capacitor first, and then decide in what time scale they will take how many readings and all. They get to know that it is not at all necessary that the independent parameters should be changed in particular steps only, and that they can utilize, that knowledge they can utilize when they design the experiment over here. We also then ask them to enter in the proposal form what is the mathematical correlation between the dependent and independent parameter, or the graph which they will have to verify. So with this, they have an idea in their mind what over what range they should change the dependent parameter, the independent parameter, and on what range they are expecting the dependent parameter. Accordingly, what range they will have to select for the meters they are going to use, what meters they should use, what should be the list count of the instrument they are going to use, and so on. So this project proposal form itself gives them clear idea of their work before they actually start with their work. And when we give them this project proposal form, along with that itself, we give them this grid. Now, this particular grid here, which I've shown, is little older. When we started with online, the grid has changed a bit. We may modify it when we come back to the offline mode again. Here you can see that the categories over which the marks are distributed are same right from first semester to sixth semester. Total marks per project are same for all the semesters, but actual marks for different categories do vary. For example, if you look at this data, graph, and calculation with proper units, the marks will go on increasing from FY to SY to TY. Whereas the marks for working experimental setup will go on decreasing. With FY students, if they show us experimental setup which is working when we actually do the evaluation, they get 5 marks. For SY, for the same thing, they get 3 marks, because we need to keep higher marks for something else, especially for the understanding, how far they have understood and what is the challenge in what they have done. In TY, it is understood that they have to have the working model, without which the project cannot be evaluated, but there are no separate marks allotted to that. And as I said earlier, TY students take many projects on the computational side. For example, if it is an electronics project, there will be some experiment which they have done and the working model will be there. Or mechanics, yes, there will be working model. But for courses like quantum mechanics, statistical mechanics, nuclear physics, and so on, they pick up computational project. Now, if you look at the marks here, the innovation and experimental challenge, the FY students get 4 marks because we don't expect them to go to very high level project or in-depth project. But when it comes to SY and then TY, we do expect them to go much beyond what otherwise they would have gone when they were in FY. And so the marks go on increasing over there. And by the time they come to 5th and 6th semester, they really have acquired good knowledge or good skills of doing projects. So our 5th and 6th semesters students, they take projects which are of much higher level. But of course, the basic concept should be in their syllabus. So this is how this particular setup is already there. And so they know how to now present their work because they have to show the working model. They have to explain how the experiment was performed, how the data was collected, and then they have to answer our questions. They are also given the full format in which they should present the report. So this report format is on the line of research paper. So with this, they already are trained to write a research paper. This work which they are doing is definitely not something that we call as a research, but they have to write it in this format. So that when our students come to 5th and 6th semester, those who really take very good level projects, they do publish papers based on the project work because they are now trained to write the project work or present the project one in report format also. Here, I have shown what are the how the project proposal form for computational project and the video analysis project is there. I'm not keeping that here. I'm not going to talk on that. Now, let me come to the last thing, and that is our projects which they are doing. We wanted them to give some idea of how to present it orally. So we conduct one seminar for the department, that is the annual seminar of our department, which is called as PROBE. PROBE stands for Physics Research on Basic Experiments. The 4th and 6th semester students, that means every year, the second half of the year, this probe takes place. So 4th semester and 6th semester students, they pick up one of the projects which they have done by then, which they feel it's done with proper understanding and it's a really good level project. They submit that project in a report in the form that they have already prepared the report for. If they want, they can modify it a bit and they submit it to us. Then every project report is analyzed by 2 teachers because there are many project reports coming to us. If, for example, last year there were 37 students in TY, so there were roughly 16 projects of those. Then there were 120 students of SY, so there were 60 projects of that. So more than 90 projects were submitted. We cannot give chance to all 90 to present their work in the one-day seminar. So we all go through 2 teachers will, one project will be looked at by 2 different teachers. And from that, we select some around 12 projects which can be kept for oral presentation and all other will go for the poster presentation. And for this, yes.
Kindly wind it up.
Yes, it's the last 1 minute now.
Sure.
So there's when they come to the presentation in the seminar, there is a group of other students in front of them. They are presenting, and also there will be external judges invited. So they are presenting their work in front of outsiders who will be evaluating their work for the prizes. So this is how we also give them chance to understand how their work can be presented so that they become confident when they go outside for their when they have to take admissions for further PG courses and all. Very often they have to face the interviews and they get confidence through this particular presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, I've stopped sharing. Yes.
You have presented so well. You have given very good example of capacitor, how to make a capacitor in the lab and how the students go for a critical thinking and on what basis they can choose whether the paper is a good electric or the other materials. and how they get to know about their difficulties, like whether they are going in the right direction or not. So thank you so much. There is no question in the chat box. So let's
Okay.
proceed towards the next. Yeah.